write it down back. Cool. How much time for like I think we like we're going to do the demo one. We're just gonna like talk about it like changes that we're like hearing concept. So if you got a lot to say about it, then like talk about it. I think that they're more likely than not. Like, I'm not gonna. I'm not happy. And they're like, but like they do more like Xbox and like work. Right. Didn't want to live transfer. That's your fault. You don't want people acting. That generation. All right, welcome. Has everyone gotten a chance to sign in already? Double check in the Zoom. Can y'all hear us? Okay. Cool. All right, there. All right, y'all. If you haven't got a chance, go ahead and head to the link posted up, hackingcf.org/challenges. We got a new one up for y'all. You can check that out now. You can check it later, but it's up there. It's gonna be up there all week. All right. Once again, prompts, sign in if you haven't already. This doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you do intend to run for any kind of like executive office at the end of the year, or you want the ability to vote in any of the things we vote for, you have to keep up on attendance. So that's how you get it. All right. So today's topics, we're going to go over some announcements. We're going to go over the previous week's cyber challenge. We're going to do current events with Sugar. We'll do Where Are They Now with Kevin Colley, and we'll do Tool Time with Matt, who'll be showing the Harvester. And then we're going to go through CTF skills one more time. How to CTF 2. Then we're going to hit closing. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, Matt, you want to do announcements?
Yep. So for announcements, as you all know, the National Cyber League competition is going on right now. There is currently how many people doing this scholarship?
Oh, we got
8 people doing this.
Seven.
Seven. We have allocated 16 people. We would prefer, yeah, we have allocated 16 people to the scholarship. It's basically going to pay for you to do it. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
7.
I lied. So yeah, we just did the scholarship award. There's Hive Storm going on, which registration is still available. And this weekend, or today actually, till Sunday at 5 a.m. is down under CTF, which me, myself, and a couple other people are currently doing. It's pretty cool. We have a lot of challenges, and I'll talk about them in a bit. So National Cyber League is a great beginner CTF. It has a gymnasium, which basically teaches you everything you need to know for the individual, preseason, and team competitions. Its entry fee is $35. Preseason starts in 3 weeks, 3 weeks. And basically it tests password cracking, cryptography, reverse engineering, network analysis, sometimes Wi-Fi hacking, reversing OSINT, and steganography.
A quick little bit about this as well. I don't know if you can see up on the screen, there's a coach code. Currently, out of everyone that signed up, we've only got one individual using the coach code. So if y'all do want to compete and you are competing and you want to represent UCF, go ahead and grab that coach code and plug that in. That way you can compete with the rest of us. The higher we rank, the better it is for everyone.
Before I actually continue, who's heard of CrowdStrike? All right. So anyways, CrowdStrike is a giant cybersecurity company, and they also on Cyber Skyline, which hosts and National Cyber League, they have basically a competition to test a lot of things, more so like about hacking and a lot more just not so much CTFs, but a lot more real life pen testing stuff. So it's free to sign up. It's on NCL, Cyber Skyline, and you can basically join. And if you do really well, you can potentially get an internship or a job offer from them. Just letting you know. NSA Codebreakers, it is a fun competition hosted by the NSA. It starts in beginning level challenges, such as log analysis, some reverse engineering, and then it goes into harder things. I haven't gotten there yet, but we have a couple UCF students that already have. It is open and free. It looks great on your resume, especially if you want to work at the DoD. It closes on December 31st, so if you want to join now, you have plenty of time to basically join and complete as many challenges. We are currently first place. However, things change and we might not be in there, so please join and do some challenges to get us some points. NSA internships are also open. If you're interested in working at the NSA, please sign up. I think they're based on rolling admissions. The faster you get it in, the better chances you have. The link below is the registering link. You have to use your UCF email since you have to be a registered student to compete. Down under CTF, as I mentioned before, is an Australian CTF. It's one of the biggest in the country, in their country. It started at 5 a.m. this morning. I thought it was at 5 p.m. because I read time zones wrong. But 5 a.m. and it goes to 5 a.m. Sunday. It covers the challenges such as miscellaneous, which doesn't really fall into any category. There's web exploitation, pwn or binary exploitation, reverse engineering, cryptography, forensics, cloud, which is a new one, and OSINT. And you can see on the right, it is highly sponsored by Google Cloud, Pentester Lab, which is a cool resource, Privisec, B-Sides, Canberra, and Hacktiv.io. So please join and just try it as much as you can.
Cool. So I'm going to go over last week's cyber challenge, the solution here. So you got these 5 hashes, and the idea was for you to crack them. So we're going to use CrackStation to crack these hashes. I'm just going to grab these real quick and then show you all a web-based tool to do this. Fast, easy, and requires almost like no real knowledge of how to crack hashes. All right, just gonna drop hashes in here. I'm not a robot. All right, and right here, it's gonna give us a list of all the passwords. Now, the way that this works, right, CrackStation, and there are several other tools out there that do this exact same thing too. They maintain a giant database of passwords, like in plain text to hashes, on a 1-for-1, right? So it's not actually cracking these live, it's just looking them up in a database somewhere. Every single time that you submit a hash, however, it gets added to a heap, and then eventually that gets worked through and they crack those in the back end. So every single time people use this tool, it gets better. If you want to do this on your own machine using something like Hashcat or John that we've gone over before, you totally could. The first 4 would have cracked rather easily, and we're going to go over why. And the last one you probably wouldn't have been able to get, and I'm going to deconstruct why it would have been so difficult. All right. So this is what we ended up with. They are all MD5 hashes. All right. So these are really insecure because they're in the RockU database. If you weren't aware of it before, it's like usually your go-to anytime you're doing like a hash crack challenge. It's just freely available and it's widely used, low-hanging fruit kind of thing. These are also in the RockU database, but they're just iterations on other passwords. So adding like 1, 2, 3 does increase the complexity, and like doing letter substitution for special characters or like numbers also increases the password complexity. But in this case, these are really, really easy to get. The last one uses a technique known as salting and peppering, right? So what you've got is in the beginning with the colon, a salt. I just chose like sodium chloride table salt. This is a joke, by the way. It's not like an actual salt or actual pepper. These are just like terms. And then the pepper right there is black pepper, like added on at the end there. The input text would be whatever the password was. So basically the way this works is you would type in your password as normal, and that would be the section in gold, right? Your input text. Then in the back end, the application would add in the salt to the front end. And in some cases, it'll also add a pepper anywhere else in the password, and it all will go through a hashing algorithm. And what comes out is something that is as complex as it needs to be essentially unbrute forceable naively. How that breaks down mathematically is essentially like you take account of like all the different types of character sets that are used, right? So we've got some uppercase, we've got lowercase, we've got special, and we've got integers, right? That means we've got 26 upper, 26 lower, we've got 33 special characters, and we've got 10 total integers, right? This is the whole like search space that you've got. You add those up, you end up with a password length of 26 characters, you end up with a symbol count of 95 characters. That ends up being symbol count raised to password length. So 95 raised to 26, which is this awful number, and they're going to get worse. The reason why this is effective is that big number right there at the top. That's the total search space that you would have to comb through on every single iteration to try to crack this hash. Let's just make the assumption that we've got a supercomputer. We've got the most powerful computer that exists, right? We use the Intel's Aurora supercomputer, right? And we're going to divide that giant number at the top by the amount of computations it can make per second, right? Operations per second. And we're going to make the bold assumption that it can do a hashing operation at every single second for best case scenario. We'll take that number, right, which is seconds. We'll divide it by 60 for the amount of minutes. We'll divide it by 60 again for hours. divided by 24 for the amount of days, divided by 365.24 for the number of years, and then we'll divide by 1.3.8 billion for the amount of time the universe has been around, right? And that number, the amount of like lifetimes of the universe we would still need is 605 quadrillion, 121 trillion, 476 billion, 937 million, 671,054 lifetimes of the universe to crack this password under best case brute force naive conditions. There are better ways to crack hashes, but this is like I'm going to try every single possibility until I exhaust the entire clear space. And that's why salting and peppering passwords in any applications makes for much, much, much better hashes. On to current events. I believe we've got Jeffrey.
Yeah. Hey, can you all hear me?
Yeah. Jeffrey, are you here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
On. Jeffrey, we can't hear you.
Oh,
So the speakers in the room aren't hooked up for whatever reason. Whoever through the audio cable connect, so we can't actually. The speakers were hooked up.
All right.
They're playing music live.
Jeffrey, can you go ahead and
and what?
so Kevin adds, actually, Kevin, if you can hear this, do you mind actually saying this when you get your opportunity to introduce yourself a little bit later on?
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
We've got Jeffrey is the host now. Hopefully he will be sharing his screen soon.
Do you want me to just say it now since it's relevant at the moment?
There we go. All right.
Hi all. So I'm assuming now people in the room can hear me, right?
I can actually. Oh, there we go.
Don't deafen yourself.
I think I'll
Let's try
just
that one more time.
read it out now because it's like relevant at the moment before people forget. So talking about like the password salting and peppering is definitely a very good technique. However, I just want to say that the realistic time to crack such a password is going to be much smaller. Is like if someone already has your password hash, that means they've probably dumped the database from whatever website it is. And so that means like a pepper would probably be in each like user row, right next to the like password hash, and the salt's probably in the application code, so they can get those two things almost certainly. And if you know those two things, then all you're actually like changing each time you're trying to brute force the password hash is like the actual password in the middle, not the salt and the pepper. So that means like the actual time to crack is going to be much lower, much more realistic, and almost purely depends on the complexity of your password. The main benefit of like salts and peppers is that like it means that if an attacker does get a dump of the database, they can't just try to crack all the passwords at the same time by looking them up in a rainbow table or something, because each user's password is like hashed set differently with like a different pepper. It just means you have to like try to crack each one at a time. Still very useful.
Okay, so I guess we can proceed with current events. Okay,
You're good
so
to go, boss.
alrighty. Thank you. Just want to make sure I got the okay. So first, let's talk about the Windows platform binary table. So have you ever wanted to run a program before Windows boot that is able to run no matter like if you reinstall Windows, or even a potential security vulnerability waiting to happen right in your pre-boot environment? Well, the Windows platform binary table has you covered, because it's a feature in Windows 8 and above that allows you to run a defined binary pretty much on every boot, regardless of OS settings. So this could be problematic if there was like a way you can run malware on it. Unfortunately, you kind of can. So the pros of like the such a system would be that you can run anti-theft software that can persist on reinstalls as well as auto driver installation, but also if there was an issue with code signing, then you might be able to write persistent malware and rootkits, even without physical access to the machine. However, unfortunately, there was an issue with how code signing is dealt. You can have expired certificates used to sign code, which means that if you somehow got a hold of the ability to sign binaries, you can make malware for WPBT. So there are some mitigations. Microsoft recommends you using something called WDAC to control the binaries that are allowed to run on your system. But you can actually, using some trickery, also disable this table in your BIOS settings, but risk the loss of anti-theft software. So kind of know what you're getting into if you go that route. Now let's talk about 0 days in iPhones. So if you're like paying attention, like in the past few years, the name Pegasus might be familiar. Previously, this family of malware was able to have an iOS like remote code execution vulnerability in WebKit, but now you have a zero-click RCE in iMessage. So this specific variant of the Pegasus bug is called forced entry and is a bug with the core graphics library in iOS with malicious PDF and PSD files. It is tracked as both CVE 2021-3860 and also another similar bug as 2021-3858. Now, if you want to patch for this, don't worry. There is 2 options available. So first, if you are running on an older version of iOS, all you have to do is update to at least iOS 14.6 or iOS 15. But if you're in like a weird scenario and you're jailbroken and you don't want to update, you can consider installing the forced exit patch available on the tweak.mario.net.in repo. But keep in mind that this isn't a perfect solution because it is not vetted by Apple, and B, if you lose your tweak loader environment, the vulnerability will be unpatched. But once again, proceed at your own risk. Updating is most certainly the best option here. So what is the NSO Group? So the NSO Group, if you don't know, they're an Israeli-based company that sells iOS and just general malware to nation states that is usually used to target dissidents and journalists. And if you're wondering if you should be worried about the NSO Group existing, if you are a normal person, which most of you are, unless you are like a demographic threatened by a regime or a journalist or something like that, you should not have to worry about the NSO Group trying to ruin your life on an average day. But whenever their vulnerabilities are revealed in such a way that anyone can take advantage of them, you can use this to, for instance, write a jailbreak with a few other bugs, and that can actually put you in danger if someone was to use that to create, say, malware. So when bad actors are targeting you, keep in mind, they aren't doing it to single you out. They just want your data because data costs is worth a lot of money. So yeah, you can be targeted even if it's unlikely in practice. And that is all. So I'm now going to hand it over to Kevin Colley if he wants to talk and give screen sharing back to the room.
All right. Can everyone see and hear me?
Yes.
Zoom can hear you fine.
All right. Cool. So Daniel, are you pulling up the slide? There we go. Cool. So I guess just to start off, I'm here because Daniel reached out to me. He wanted to do some alumni segment, kind of like checking up where folks are now. I said I thought that was a great idea. So basically just a quick about me in case you've never seen or heard of me before. My name is Kevin. I joined HackUCF in 2013, so like not even a full year into its existence. And like ever since, I've been very actively involved and was even the president during the 2017 and 2018 academic year. I've competed on CCDC. I've competed in many CTFs. I've like also been a like organizer for Sunshine CTF for the past many years since like 2017. And I also, back when I was a member of HackUCF, I used to run weekly workshops to train people how to solve CTF challenges, mainly binary exploitation, but also focusing on reverse engineering somewhat. And so since I graduated in May of 2018 with a computer science degree, I have been working at Microsoft full-time up until just under a year ago when I switched to Tesla, where I am now on their product security team. So yeah, I'm just interested in iOS security. That's actually how I got involved in security, was like being curious about how jailbreaks worked and like reading into the write-ups. I also really like game modding and CTF challenges, that sort of thing. So I guess at this point, I'll kind of like open it up to Q&A if anyone has questions they'd like to ask. And also I wanted to mention that I think what Jeffrey is going to talk about later, ctf.hackucf.org, is a fantastic resource for like learning CTFing. And that is like many of the challenges there were created by me or other people in the club with the purpose of like showing how to solve them and the techniques associated like during those CTF workshops that we used to host. All right, let's see. Questions. Favorite iOS jailbreak? I would say Checkrain, just because it's really exciting that there was another unpatchable boot ROM vulnerability recently released in iOS. I didn't expect to see one since the last one came out for the iPhone 4, which was LimeRain. So it's exciting that like now there's like modern devices again that are like forever vulnerable to a boot ROM vulnerability. Devices like the 10S and newer are no longer vulnerable though. Oh, cool. I haven't actually seen that, Jeff. Sandcastle. Okay, I think I've heard of that. So I have some interesting opinions about certs. So for everyone, the question was, I don't have any certs. Did this hinder me in getting a job first? So I think that certs can be useful in certain situations, but it really depends on the industry and like what else you have on your resume. So I think that at least in my experience, certs are mainly interesting, like they're mainly interesting to employers if you are like, okay, they're mainly interesting if you are trying to go into something like the defense industry or just, I guess, more standard pen testing areas. But for me, so I mainly focus on like security of native code. So that means like things that are written in C++, like trying to find like buffer overflow vulnerabilities, doing like fuzzing, static analysis, that sort of stuff. And like there aren't really any certs that are relevant to this area. And I think that like most employers would mainly be interested in like seeing other things like your experience with CTFs, that sort of thing. So hopefully that answers your question. Looks like Jake has a question. Is the boot ROM like an unupdatable software exploit? Boot ROM sounds like software, but if it's software, how can't it be patched? It's pre-boot. Yeah, so basically, the boot ROM is indeed software. However, it is software that's like burned into the chip in something called the, what is it? It's like the option ROM mask, but basically it's code that's like burned into the chip and cannot be changed at all. Like the only way to fix it is for Apple to make a new chip with new software that's like fixed. So they can't change any software up until the boot ROM hands off control to like the first stage bootloader, which on iOS is called, it depends on which phone, but it's called either like iBoot or LLB, which is low level bootloader. There's a few other possible things it could be called. But that's like the first area where if there's a vulnerability from that point onwards, they are able to patch it. Let's see. Yeah, so there are like some tricky ways that they can try to develop patches for it. So one way they attempted to patch it is, so there's something on iPhones called the SEP, which is the Secure Enclave. And they added some code to the SEP, which at the time, even with like the checkra jailbreak applied, they didn't have control over code running in the SEP. Just because like the security protections there. And so they like added some code that made it so that the SEP would like check if the device was booted up into DFU mode at first, which is called device firmware upgrade. And that's necessary in order to actually apply the checkra jailbreak. And if the device was booted up into that mode, meaning not a normal boot, then it would basically disable like allowing access to anything that's protected by your passcode. So you could get around that by disabling your passcode and then doing checkra. But if you wanted to have a passcode on, the only way to do it was like the checkra team eventually came out with another exploit called, oh yeah, I'll read questions out loud from now on. But they came out with another exploit called Blackbird. So if you're curious, you can Google search Blackbird and that will teach it to you. Also, yeah, Jeff, I think that that link you provided is from a illegitimate domain, so I wouldn't trust anything on that website. All right, so extra questions. Let's see. Oh yeah, Jeff linked to Pongo OS, which is a really cool, like very low level operating system that the checkra folks built to kind of allow you to do like patching of code and other early boot things. All right, so Thomas asks, what are some things that you liked about working for Raytheon, Apple, and Microsoft? Example, work culture, or which one you acquired more knowledge of the industry from? So I have some interesting thoughts here. So I would say that still to this day, the like internship I did at Raytheon, which was like my first ever internship, was like the most technically challenging and interesting. Because so I can't really talk too much about what I did while I was there, but I did security on iOS. And I was pretty much just like given a project, and it was like a very difficult and challenging project for me to work on. But like I was kind of, they were like, here's what we want you to do. Just figure out how to do it, go do it. And I had like resources or other people around at the office who like knew about iOS stuff. So I could like ask them questions if I got stuck on something. And I had support, but it was kind of nice. Like I felt pretty independent there and able to just kind of go out and tackle something which I was already interested in because I came into security like because of my interest in like iOS jailbreaking. So I would say that was very like interesting and exciting. Working for Apple was really cool because in case you can't tell, I am a bit of an Apple fanboy. I got my AirPods here, the Apple Watch, the iPhone. I'm very much in the Apple ecosystem. And so it was cool like working for the company that like I use like all of their products pretty much. And like I was interested in iOS for so long. So just being on the inside was really cool. Now, of course, Apple is like famously hush hush about things. They are like very tightly knit, and they don't like information getting out too much. So like it's interesting at Apple, like my badge, like if I had a friend who works somewhere at Apple, chances are my badge cannot get me to their office. Like my badge could pretty much only get me to like my hallway on my floor of my building. And that was pretty much it. It could get me into like the general areas of other buildings, but that's not where like people sat at desks. Whereas on the other hand, at Microsoft, if I had some friend who worked at Microsoft somewhere, chances are almost certain that my badge could get me to their desk, which is kind of cool. And like Microsoft is much more open, and there's like you're able to talk about what you do with almost everyone at Microsoft, unless you're on like a handful of like the restricted teams, whether that's like Xbox, Surface, or HoloLens, something like that. So I would say that that's like one of the things that I appreciated about Microsoft, and one of the reasons I choose to join them full time rather than Apple. Was there anything in particular you think helped you get internships at Raytheon, Microsoft, and Apple? So for Raytheon, when I like applied there, it was I had a friend who is at Hack UCF who he did an internship there the previous summer, and so he kind of got me in contact with them just because like he knew I was interested in iOS security. He thought I would be a good fit, and so at that point, I had yet to complete a single semester of college. So all they were going off of pretty much was like my personal experience and like the side projects I've done in the past and just my interests. And so I would say that having side projects, things you put up on GitHub, that sort of thing is very useful in some ways. And that's honestly, those sort of things, whether it's like internal connections that you have with people, that helps a lot. You can't understate how important that is. And also just like your interests in personal projects. That was at least what helped for me. What did Apple think of your history in jailbreaking? So it was interesting when I put on my resume that I did iOS. I'm not going to say exactly what I put on my resume, but when I spoke with the Apple security engineers, they're like, "Huh, that's interesting. I thought that we were the only ones who were supposed to be able to do that." And I was like, "Yeah." So I kind of did that too. So they thought it was really interesting, but the security team at Apple is no stranger to like having people from the jailbreaking community join. There are when I was there were multiple people who I knew very well who like created jailbreaks in the past who are working on that team and are still there now. So they are well aware of the jailbreaking community and do hire from it occasionally too. Yeah, so I think I've pretty much answered all the questions that are currently in the chat. Any like final questions? All right, that's it. We're out of time. So yep, thank you. If anyone has any more questions, feel free to like message me on Discord. I am K Kali there, and I'd love to answer any questions. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Me. Next, we've got tool time with Matt. We'll be running us through a little bit of information on Harvester. Yes. The Harvester. There we go. Yep. Yes. Cool. So, the Harvester, before I go into it, I would like to show you. So Harvester is an open source OSINT tool. Open source means you can download it yourself and use it however you want. It's a bunch of it's based on Python. Basically, what it can do is it's used for researching companies, mainly in finding domains that they might not probably advertise immediately, but it's on the public-facing internet still. And so it basically crawls looking for different domains, subdomains, everything with the website. You could also search for names. That feature is a bit more limited in respect to how it's used, but it's basically used for initial enumeration, pen testing, and just seeing the scope of the company and seeing any potential attack surfaces. So let me show you how it works. So if I run, oh, that's right. I remember this last time. Is that big for you guys? See?
Awesome. That's good.
Yeah, I got the glass cannons here, so I can see pretty far. So the Harvester, oh my gosh.
Yeah, maybe bring it back a little.
It's not letting me. All right, so we'll take it one by one, every line. So this is the gallery. And so this is the basically how to use it. So this is version 3. It's the newest one. You can basically do it if you want to get it. You could do pip3 install the Harvester, and I'll download for you. So basically, you're able to detect determine if you want to do. Oh crap! If you want to do Google dorking, you can limit the number of search results. You can use Shodan if you want to do that. Virtual host enumeration. You can use also save the files and specify sources. So the sources here, you can use Bing, Google, some of these I don't even know, LinkedIn, Twitter, you can find Twitter things, Yahoo, and a bunch of other weird search engines or whatever. DuckDuckGo's on there too. So one I like to do is I like to see what Google likes to do. So to do that, you specify domain. So the company's domain. So let's do google.com. And the source. So I don't want to search Google with Google. I'm going to use Bing and just hit enter. And then it says target. It's like pretty cool. What the? All right. So I found 3 things: search.google.com, workspace.google.com, and then the www. Last time I did this, we could do DuckDuckGo. Oops. as well. Yeah, Bing. Microsoft Bing sucks. There's some more. DuckDuckGo. So encrypted Google.com. I don't know what that does. So if you guys want to look that up, go ahead. It'll give you the IP too. There's OGS. I don't know what that does. There's APIs, which you can use APIs. Oh, maybe it's an encrypted form. So apparently Jeffrey said encrypted.google.com is an alias for google.com, but it might also maybe be more secure. Who knows? We could also, if you want to search me, my name is Matthew McKeever on, say, LinkedIn. It's going to take a bit.
Now, while we're waiting on this, Matt, is it ethical to just like search random people without their permission?
Depends on how you view it. It's technically, it's kind of weird. Legally standing, no, it's not, because it's publicly information. I would say don't do it because you'll come off as a stalker, and who likes to be called that? But in legally standpoints, no, it's not illegal to do this. That's why it's available and you don't get arrested for using it. Why did it not work?
Literally did this.
I did this like an hour ago and they got me like 100 names. Hold on a second. Let me try this one more time.
The short takeaway there is do not search like individuals that you aren't in scope for. So like if you're on a campaign for like a specific like challenge, or that you're doing some kind of like recon operation and you're supposed to be doing this, then that's within scope. If you're just out there looking up your enemies, that's weird and rude. So please don't do that. It may or may not be illegal depending upon where you're doing it from and where they are.
Volunteers to be searched. So I will search Kevin Colley next and see if that fixes anything. Does anyone have any questions about this tool? There's also a thing called Eagle Eye. I tried getting installed. All right, whatever. I'll search up Kevin now. Maybe it's like saving it to somewhere that I don't even know, and it just doesn't show it. Kevin Colley. Let's see if that works. Yeah. So depending on what type of Python you have installed, so like Parrot OS comes with Python. So there's a thing called pip. Pip installs a lot of Python modules, and basically the harvester is kind of a tool based on Python. So you can do either pip3, try pip3 in space install, and then, all right, Kevin, you don't exist.
This may actually be a UCF WPA2 issue.
Oh, that's right. Because I was on
You're in CyberLab Wi-Fi, yeah.
Sheesh. Maybe Google help. Anyways, so yeah, so you can do pip3 install lowercase capital H harvester. All right. Anyways, the demo gods did not pray for me today, and
Are you doing this from the accuracy of Pentra?
no,
Or are you doing it from your terminal?
my terminal.
Okay, well then we've learned something. In the future we'll have to do this through the
Yeah.
Pentra.
Short answer: WPA2 for UCF sucks. If you want to do some cool hacking things, don't use it. It worked. All right, this tool is interesting. Anyways, the harvester, everyone. It worked for me earlier. Like I did Google and Bing, came up with like 100 different like domains, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. Did you make a sacrifice?
Not yet.
Well,
All right. So yeah, that's the harvester. There is another one called Eagle Eye, which basically does a more creepy way of doing it. It basically searches, you can like load images and you can like correlate the name to face and like go through all the social medias and like find all of the accounts. That's more stalker-like. Don't do that to people you don't know. But if you're hired as a pen tester, feel free if it's in scope.
there are also very specifically OSINT challenges that come up every now and again. And they do OSINT and reverse image searches and like people searches in kind of a more nuanced way that is kind of important to talk about. Oftentimes, some competitions will link up with like the FBI or other federal like law enforcement agencies to try to find people that have gone missing. And the entire challenge is literally to try to track down these people and try to find hints of them. Now, sometimes these are simulated, sometimes they are real world. It does happen, and there is a good use for these tools. But like with everything else, it's the tool itself isn't bad, it's how you use it. So don't do illegal things.
There we go.
I think it's a little late.
Yeah, there's also. You want to talk about the or no? What you talking about earlier?
Yeah, I guess I kind of like on this exact same subject. It's kind of important to talk about like people that do like dumb things. Like, has anyone in the room ever heard of Kevin Mitnick? Okay, we've got a couple. Cool. Kevin Mitnick very famously did a demonstration for an OSINT demonstration, called out an individual in the audience and had them volunteer their information and use a non-OSINT tool to blast all their information, including their social security number, out to everyone that was in the audience. That individual has had a rough go since then. So definitely be careful using these tools and be kind.
Yeah. So with that abomination of a demo, we will continue on to the next thing. So you want to start sharing?
Yeah.
It worked before. That's all that matters, guys.
All right, now we're moving on to our main presentation. We're going to go over some CTF skills, how to CTF. In this version, we're going to be talking more about resources that you can go to, things that you can do. We kind of focused on like live demos and like how to do things actively. This is more for your benefit, where you can like study all these sites. We'll post this stuff up afterward too, just in case like you're waiting around for the video to get published. But let's go ahead and get Zach up here to talk about Over the Wire.
All right, so Over the Wire is a war game website that runs 24/7, so you can do it anytime. You can even do it during classes if you'd like. Now, what are war games? They are essentially a CTF where you're given a starting challenge, where you're given basically a password and a username, and you'll have to then complete more challenges and get more passwords. Just as you go on. They start off very beginner friendly, but they do get quite a lot more challenging as you advance through the challenges. Do note that your progress will not be saved because there is no login for this website. So you will have to write down the passwords as you go along if you want to go back to challenges as you complete them. Now, there are many different games you can play on this website. The four that I have listed here are some of their beginner ones. Bandit goes over basics with the Linux terminal. Natus delves into web security. Krypton goes over the basics of cryptography. And then Narnia goes over binary exploitation. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. Does anyone have any questions? It is completely free.
You just need to have internet access.
Mhm.
I hope you have that, guys. Hope you have internet. That's a different question.
It means you will have to learn as you go through the challenges, but at least with Bandit, that's all I've done so far. With Bandit, it'll tell you which commands in the terminal you will use. So it also gives you some reading that you can do on those commands. A package that I have installed that I found very useful is TLDR. To install it in a Linux terminal, you just put sudo apt install and then TLDR, and it basically gives you a rundown of the manual page of that command. And I found that helps greatly with at least some of the first couple challenges for Bandit.
Yeah, you definitely learn a lot. I did Bandit. I completed all of it, and I definitely learned a lot. I did that my summer going to my freshman year, so last year did that. Learned a lot, and basically that's my base knowledge of all Linux stuff. So it's definitely a great resource to learn.
Another question? Not a question, more of a comment. There's also wire, which they have something that's equivalent to Data, but for PowerShell. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Good to know.
PowerShell. Any other questions in the Zoom or out there audience? Nothing. Okay. What about? Okay, never mind. So yeah, cool.
All right, well, that's over the wire.
Exactly. Cool, me again. So who sort of try hack me? Okay, cool. So a good 50% of the front audience and there's one person in the Zoom. So Try Hack Me is a really beginner friendly training course. It's kind of like, so you've heard Hack the Box, right? I think everyone's heard of Hack the Box. So Hack the Box, Try Hack Me is like more like a kid friendly version of Try Hack Me. Hack the Box, gosh, sorry. It basically teaches you a lot of things. Actually, I'll show you the website. This right here is the main training courses. So if you want to learn free security, cyber defense, pen test, all that stuff, it has a bunch of courses for them, boxes you can hack, a bunch of like training courses to go through things. Fun fact, the pen test plus one, should you complete it, you get a voucher for, not a voucher, a discounted price for the pen test plus certification voucher. So if you wanted to get the pen test plus, do that course and you'll get a discounted. So let me demo my account. Let me get out of here and get over here. So this is what I just showed you, the learning paths, right? You can also compete, King of the Hill, attack and defend type of things. There's leaderboards. And there's also a dashboard. Like there's the highlights, like what you've completed and how you're doing well on your path. So I haven't done this in a while, but learning paths, introductory researching I haven't done yet, and I'm also level 6. You can have friends on here. I don't have any, so there's none there. So if we go back to learn, you go to practice. So if you want to learn like a series, if you want to learn overpass, there's just a box. Web vulnerabilities, pen testing tools, WinCorp. So a lot of these are boxes, right? And it covers a lot of just specific things. So let's see what this one is. How do I enroll? So this one has a bunch of things like Mr. Robot CTF is a bot you can root, a box you can root. It has a lot of fun things. So there's one thing I should mention. There's free and there's VIP, right? We live in a capitalist environment, so there's always going to be a premium feature. So VIP for students is about $8 a month, which is really cheap compared to HackerBox, which is $15 for VIP. And what it includes is a unlimited pwn box, which is like a Parrot OS version, what I've been showing you. That basically connects to their network, so you don't have to VPN in and everything. If you have your own machine, you can just download the VPN and do it like that if you want. So yeah, and there's one other thing I wanted to show you guys, and I gotta find it. But oh yeah, so modules. Here we go. So you want to do network exploitation, cryptography, whatever. They have like a collection of things that will teach you it. And down here, networks, fun. So if you want to do CPTC, this is what you basically doing for the competition. Hacking into a network, enumerating, pivoting, all that fun things. They do that here. It's only VIP only, which is like $8 a month, which is pretty cheap, in my opinion. But yeah, do you guys want to do a little demo? I already have one in mind. It's about something we already learned called hash cracking. Where does it go? There we go. Back. Okay, man. Fine. John the Ripper. Here we go. I found it. So, so it basically describes how to use the tools that they're teaching you. And then what I like to do, I like cheesing sometimes, right? So it gives you how many characters you need, right? So for this first hash, I'm pretty sure it's MD5. I'm right. Never wrong. So let's try cracking hash text. So I can download the files right here, and then I have John already booted up. So So we can do John, like I'll show you the directory. Oh, so we have hash 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's crack. Oh, sorry. Does that work for this one?
Right click at the top.
Oh, properties. Font 24 sounds good. How about that? Is that good enough, y'all? I can. Yeah, full screen it too. Yeah. Is that good for you guys? Cool. So to use John, John, you just specify the hash 1, and then you type that Google list. And I'm using RockU as Daniel mentioned before. And it's gonna. Bruh. All right, crack station we go. Yeah, this is not going well. That's okay. Here we go. Remember, crack station is your friend should anything go wrong. And there we go, we got biscuit. So we're gonna go put it back in here and voila, I'm cool. I got a hash. Now we can keep doing this. What type of hash is this? Probably SHA-1. Boom. I'm actually guessing this. I actually haven't done this before. And we wanted to say, let's try John hash 2 with the word list. Bruh. All right. All right, this is gonna be the last hash I crack. So we're gonna go to crack station again. Remember, guys, crack station is our friend. Repeat it with me, guys. And then we're gonna go here, crack it. There we go, kangaroo. Whoa. Okay. That's their fault, man. I did not do this. All right, that's Try Hack Me. It's pretty cool. I like learning and taught me some things. It's also a good way to practice if you want to just like hone some skills, and Hack the Box is kind of like cryptic about how you're practicing.
Doesn't this module teach you how to use John to get the syntax right?
It is syntax right. I just broken on my thing. All right, here, let's try it. So let's use the format specifier. MD5 hash.
What is this next?
It's okay. Oh, it's fine. Sorry. They have a weird one. It's called raw. All right. All right. So let's try SHA-1. This gotta be it. This gotta be it. Okay. Anyways, it'll teach you how to do it. Obviously, I have to relearn some things, but it'll teach you how to do it. And it won't. Yeah. Cool. No, I have it right, Kevin. It's just WSL sometime broken. Cool. So that's Try Hack Me. All right. Everyone give it up for Matt. No, it works.
All right, so now we just talked about Hackbox briefly. I'm going to go over it in a little bit more detail. I'm going to go through the website for you real quick. Hackbox.eu, 24/7 offensive security training website, plus more. So it's more than just like boxes to hack. They have expanded quite a bit in the last couple of years. They've got all kinds of labs as well as like training models. It is definitely geared to encourage you to pay for it, but it does have a free area. The disadvantage there is that like when a box retires, it goes offline and you can't get access to it anymore. So kind of a problem, especially if like you've been working on that box for a long time and school just kind of got in the way and you finally like got a good weekend and you go to log on and it's gone. So if you can afford the $15 a month, it's definitely worth it for that. Plus you get access to all the write-ups. You get a lot of experience to just like walk through things at your own pace and learn a lot as you go along. It's a fantastic way to get a handle on like quote unquote hacking in the traditional sense. If you're like looking at this from like a through Hollywood's lens on like what it is that hackers do, right? Hack the Box is really going to like put you through your paces and it's going to bring you up to speed on a lot of like what's going on today. It's also a lot of fun. There are multiple levels of access, including VIP and now VIP Plus. I have VIP. I don't know what VIP Plus does because I don't want to pay that much more money for it. But let's go ahead and like walk through the website so y'all get a little bit of an understanding of that.
So VIP Plus, so VIP gives you access to all the retired boxes plus phone box for 24 hours a month. And VIP Plus gives you your personalized instance for every box you do. So how the Hackbox works is they have a VPN, like a VPN network. You join a box and say you're on the free one, there's like 50 people on there, screwing up your box and making you upset. VIP Plus gives you your own private instance. So you're the only one messing it up. So that's really the main difference. And it gives you a limited phone box, but if you have your own machine, that's not really super important. So yeah, that's the main differences.
Oh.
I should also mention before we got it, never mind.
Right.
We will be going back to the Cyber Lab after this and probably work on NSA code breakers if anyone wants to do it.
All right, so what you can see here is the landing page. It used to be a little while ago that to even get an account for HackTheBox, you had to do a little bit of web exploit to generate an account. They changed that, so now you can just go and sign up like every other page. One of the nice things for VIP is that you can go down to machines, and you can get access to retired machines, a whole bunch of stuff. Like there are 14 pages of boxes, so there's almost an unlimited amount of content here. They also have tracks to develop very specific skill sets that you might be interested in. For instance, if you are thinking that you want to get into binary exploitation and you want to try your hand at it, Intro to Binary Exploitation is a track that's developed specifically to point you in that direction. Or maybe you just want to hit the easy button and use Metasploit, right? You want to test that out quite a bit. You can pwn with Metasploit, which is a series of boxes that go from easy all the way up to hard. And a hard HackTheBox is a little bit more difficult than what you would like assume it would be. You can go continue that all the way into, say, Linux privilege escalation. And it goes all the way up to an insane box. And we'll walk you through, like at a slowly increasing difficulty level, every single box as you go along. A lot of these are novel and a lot of them are like really interesting takes on a very specific exploit. There are also challenges. So very similar to CTF, they have categories broken down, crypto, pwn, web, reversing. If CTF is something that you really want to practice and there just isn't like a good CTF on the horizon that you're excited for, maybe you're trying to gear up for Seesaw, maybe you're trying to gear up for Sunshine, this is a fantastic way to kind of like get ready for it. There's a bunch more stuff like all throughout the website. And I highly recommend, even if you aren't going to pay for it, to just build an account, try it out, right? Do something easy, look around for, like they've got very easy boxes here as your starting point. A lot of these, the like way through the box is essentially given away in the description of the box. And though for all the live boxes, there aren't supposed to be walkthroughs or write-ups out there, these are definitely things that you can go onto the HackTheBox forum, or you can go onto their Discord channel and you can ask around. Or if you want very specific like information on a given box, you can approach most of us. We use this all the time. There are some of us who have a lot of boxes completed. Are there any questions about HackTheBox?
I have more of a note. The starting point has 9 boxes, but only 5 are available as a free user. The other 4 are available as the end.
Good to know. So to answer Nathan in the chat, don't you have to hack the login to create an account? I kind of touched on this earlier, but that was a requirement that you used to have to do. They have changed it recently within about the last 6 months or so, where you can just go and register on the site. You don't have to do the web exploit.
We're talking about us or?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, no, sure, you can do it.
Right. So we also are registered here on Hack the Box as a university. So if you want to add your name to the list of all of us, you can find us on
Just put there.
the universities, UCF. And then you can see our statistics, activity, our members,
Yep,
and all that stuff.
and they rank you. It's like so like they do a point system to rank you and globally and nationally, and so you can see how well you're doing against your UCF peers too if you want to do that.
So Addison added that you can still do the hack your way in if you want to in the old UI. All right. Continuing on to VulnHub. So whereas Hack the Box is like a cloud-based login and do everything through their UI, VulnHub is kind of the do-it-yourself kind of experience. It's a website which hosts intentionally vulnerable virtual machines so that you can like learn a variety of skills. Very similar to Hack the Box, but you'll have to host this on your own. So you have to have some kind of like virtual machine client, VirtualBox, or VMware. And the boxes, unlike in Hack the Box, they don't retire. So once they're posted up, they're there forever. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. While it might be useful to do a box from like 2007 just to figure out like how to work your way through it, most of the vulnerabilities you're going to find in those boxes probably aren't going to be as relevant as newer stuff. So kind of like keep an eye on that. But we'll go to VulnHub real quick. And VulnHub is set up in this way, right? So all these listed here are virtual machines, right? And they have a variety of different difficulties. We're just going to go to Kyatrix. All right, so Kyatrix is a relatively like low-level box. Download this, spool it up as your VM, and essentially like what you'll need to do is work through a Linux box, essentially. It's relatively easy. There are walkthroughs that are available on the website right here at the bottom. So if you try it and you get stuck and you don't know what to do, the walkthrough's right there. It's freely available. Figure out whatever it is you need to like get past that hitch and move on. One thing that I always like recommending to people is like, don't be ashamed to use walkthrough. Don't be ashamed to ask questions. Don't be ashamed to like reach out, because like this is how you learn, right? Like no one ever expects you to show up and just like have mastered the skill already, right? If you don't know something and you're willing to learn, that's a valuable thing. If you can ask a question to something that you don't know, and that's the only thing that you need to do to continue working through something, great, that's awesome. But if you don't understand something fundamentally and no one, like you don't ask for help, how are you ever going to learn, right? It's not just like magically going to happen for you. Are there any questions on VulnHub? Awesome. All right, I believe this is Jeffrey.
Yeah, hello. Let's talk about ctf.hackucf.org. So this is, as Kevin alluded to before, HackUCF's 24 hours, 7 days a week, free to play online CTF. The challenges are almost entirely created by fellow HackUCF students and alumni, and is also consists of past Sunshine CTF challenges. You can kind of hone your skills on stuff like Hone and Web in an environment that's relatively low stakes, but still has a leaderboard for those who want to be competitive. So it's kind of the perfect place to hone your CTF skills if you're just kind of getting started. It also solves your solve history, so you can actually have analytics of what are you strong and weak in, and uses ancient version of CTFD. So like kind of more of a meta joke, but I'm gonna kind of show around the interface on ctf.hackucf.org and kind of show you around. So when you first pull it up, you're gonna be presented with this UI. So it'll just say get a virtual machine, which I would recommend, and then you can kind of get started. So normally you would have to create an account, but I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in. And once you're in, you'll land on the scoreboard. So this scoreboard contains a lot of challenges. So you can do scripting if you want to like kind of just get an idea of how like CTFs work if you have a more CS background. Web, if you're into web exploitation, reverse engineering, crypto, forensics and steganography, and POEM. So I'm not going to do a very basic reverse engineering challenge to kind of show you like how this works. It's essentially a 24/7 CTF. So it's relatively straightforward. So baby's first elf, it just says, can you even Linux? And we're going to try to solve this. So I actually already downloaded the binary. So if I just ls this, we see we have our binary. And I'm going to.
We can't see your terminal.
Oh, yeah, you're completely right about that. My bad. So, but now you can. There. Okay, can everyone
Yes.
see? Okay. Thanks for catching that. So anyways, if I do use first elf, we see it's there. We can actually see some data about it. And then I can run it, which is actually just going to give us the flag. So once we have the flag, we can copy paste and then make our way back over to Firefox. And then from here, you see Firefox.
No, we still see your terminal.
I thought I switched screens. No biggie. Yeah, there we go. And then I just paste the flag in and it says I've already solved it. Of course, I did already solve it. And you can see a list of, because I just did plus X very quickly. So you can kind of see a list of everyone who solved it and when they solved it. And since this is a relatively old site, good question. Then it could be WSL being weird. But you could actually see a list of everyone who solved it and when they solved it. So you have a kind of competitive environment, but you don't have to really like worry about, oh, who has the most points, because like ultimately you're just doing it for fun. So if you go to the scoreboard, you can see kind of the place that everyone's in and the progress that they progressed over time from when we first launched the site in 2016. So you can see Tepapu over here. You have some users, hi to Clemson, for getting up to like 5,000 points, and then like bug check and everything. And then you can see the scoreboard here and see where you rank. So yeah, that's kind of the basics of the ctf.hackucf.org environment. It's definitely super cool if you just want to like practice your skills. And as Kevin said in the chat, just let us know if you want to add a challenge to it or Sunshine CTF.
Yeah, to comment on that, we'd love to have more people who are interested in like creating CTF challenges. At the moment, there's not a lot of folks. It's mainly alumni. There's not a lot of like new people who are creating challenges. So like the more the merrier. We could definitely use it for future Sunshine CTFs. So please reach out to someone if that's something that sounds interesting to you. Even if you haven't competed in many CTFs before, that's fine. We're still interested as long as you are interested.
Yeah, just either reach out to Kevin or I, and we can get you started on challenge development.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And once again to Kevin, thank you very much for letting us know all about that. We'll definitely be sending people your way.
Sweet, thanks.
All right, moving on to Reaper.
Hello. I am here to give you a brief overview of HackerOne and BugCrowd. They're not necessarily CTS, but they kind of like go hand in hand with the whole idea. These sites are bug bounty sites where you can earn money by reporting bugs in various company software. These companies will have a scope outlined on the website, like what you can hit, what you can't hit. Don't hit the can't hit because that's illegal. So don't do the illegals. We don't like that. And testers can submit bug reports to the companies. And these sites usually do require some sort of validation of your skills or a background check to make sure you're not like criminal. You don't want that. And HackerOne CTF is a good show of like what the verification of skills will look like. That link right there. You don't have to do bug bounties to participate in the CTF. It's not ranked or anything. It's just kind of like a fun practice CTF. It has like write-ups all over GitHub, so it really shouldn't be that big of a deal for you guys to like practice on. Not really that hard. It's a great starting point. So testers have made millions of dollars submitting bug bounties to these websites, and a kid named Santiago Lopez, who's 19 years old, was the first person to make $1 million on bug bounties. So it's very doable. He's your age, it's doable. Just if you want to earn some more money, you know. And that's some of the companies that use HackerOne. You see Starbucks, Nintendo, PayPal, General Motors, Spotify, AT&T, Qualcomm, Verizon, just to name a few. If you ever wanted a pen test, GovTech of Singapore, you know, it's up there. So why do we bug bounty? Money, duh. It's a great way to supplement your income without like a lot of commitment. You don't need to really like get an interview and be accepted for it. It's just like, do you have the skills that we need to get this done? And if you do, well, you can make money doing it. And if money isn't a great motivating factor to you, then consider that you are open sourcing security. You are like collectively adding to securing the internet. So that's kind of cool. Also, employers really like to see practical real world experience on your resume. And if you don't have a job and you've never had an internship, bug bounties are a great way to supplement that learning. It shows taking initiative, and it shows that you have some practical skills that employers like to see, especially pen testing firms. And if all above fails for your motivation, do it because you really have nothing better to do. And bug bounties, a great way to learn. So.
Are there any questions on that? Anyone want to like get any specific details or move on to the next segment? Nope. All right, cool. Okay. When you want to
Yeah, can I just
share your screen? Yeah. All right, now we're done with.
Can you make me co-host?
I can.
I can. You can make the co-host.
Give me a second.
I gotcha.
Got that as a slide in, so the next slide is just like.
You're the co-host. Good.
Oh, what?
You are, dog. Someone beat me to it.
Oh, yeah, nice. Okay, there we go. Oh, I guess I'll just share the website. Oh, is it on the screen?
Yep.
Oh, nice, cool. So I'm just gonna talk for a second about Hack This Site. Can you raise your hand if you've heard of Hack This Site? Raise your hand if you have not heard of Hack This Site. Oh, okay, this is great. Okay, so Hack This Site is like a really great place to start learning like some CTFing. It literally, like the title of the website is what you're supposed to do, which is Hack This Site. I'm just going to show you the first challenge. It says basic test of your skills to see if you can do any of these missions requires HTML. Okay, so you need to know HTML. We'll see how much HTML you actually need to know to solve this first problem. So this is like way too small for you guys back there. Can you read it at all or no? Back row? Yeah? Okay. This is what we call the idiot test. If you can't complete it, don't give up learning all you can, but don't go begging someone else for the answer. That's one way to get hated or made fun of. Enter the password so you can continue. Does anyone have any ideas on how to find out what the password? Have you done this before? You haven't done this before? Okay, all right. Okay, so want to look at the header real quick? Oh, it's pretty basic. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna search inspect element. You can search. I'm gonna search for a password. We'll see it. Oh, look at this. I see something in a different color. And it says first few levels are extremely easy. Password is this. Look at that. All right, so let's scroll up and let's enter that in. Oh, sick. Okay, so website changed. Oh, congratulations, you completed basic 1. See, so like super easy to like learn how to CTF thing. I'm gonna do one more challenge real quick for you guys. So here's another one. Network Sam set up a password protection script. He made it load the real password from an unencrypted text file. Oh boy. And compare it to the password the user enters. However, he neglected to upload the password file. So does anyone have any ideas on how to find out what the password is for this problem? Do you have an idea? Have you done this before? No, you haven't? Okay, well, what's your thoughts? Okay, all right, well, that was the wrong thing to do. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so here, inspect element. And you want me to go to the console? You want me to type something in and click submit? It doesn't look like it threw any errors when I submitted that. Does anyone have any other ideas? Yeah? Okay. All right, what do you want me to do? Just tell me what to do. Right click. Want me to check the header for JavaScript stuff?
What about sources?
Sources.
Yeah.
Okay, we can check our sources.
Nope, nope, nope.
Oh.
Inspect. Sources. Like that.
Reload the page.
Yeah.
Click what?
Click index.
Okay, you want me to click
Index.
right here?
That's what.
Where am I going to?
That's why you see script.
Can I search scripts? All right. All right, cool. So I'm going to save us some time here. It says he neglected to upload the password file. That means when you enter a password, it has nothing to compare it to, which means there's likely no password. So I'm just going to click submit, and it says we solved it. So the answer was just to actually just hit submit because they didn't upload the password file. Cool. So Hack the Site is a really great place, really great website and tool to go to learn like some basic CTF stuff. For any challenge, it'll tell you the schools you need to brush up on, the stuff you need to know in order to solve the challenges. And like, God forbid you get stuck on like one of the problems, there are write-ups for all of these online, so you can look up the solutions to any of these, but you shouldn't. You should try to like try like all things, try empty passwords, try different things on to like get through every challenge you can think of. So that's a little bit about Hack the Site. Does anyone have any questions about that? No questions? Any questions in Zoom? Nothing. All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
All right, so before we move on, just quick call for questions. Anyone want to like raise an issue? Anything you saw today that you didn't quite get, you want to talk about, or you have like questions about? Also in chat, if you guys want to like take the wheel for a second. What's up?
In the journal, like this one, you get like a dot. What does that stand for? Is it the directory or just-
Oh, when I did it?
Yeah.
So dot means go to the parent directory. So dot means current directory, dot means go back one.
Have you done over the wire before? If you go to over the wire and you do bandit, it will walk you through the Linux command line. And if you do under the wire, you can do the same thing, but with PowerShell. It will bring you from knowing nothing at all to being able to navigate without having to look up a cheat sheet. So it's pretty helpful. Anyone else have questions, clarification?
Any Linux questions?
CTF questions?
We're all pretty knowledgeable here, so good question.
All right then, I guess we'll call it here then. Gonna give a shout out for operations. Our team is always looking for individuals to come on and help make these slides, do these presentations, make content. Now that we've got through the majority of like the beginner and introductory material, we're gonna start bringing on individuals from industry that are gonna come up here and talk about quite a bit of things. We're gonna be rolling out workshops here pretty soon. So all that work is done either by the executive board or by our ops team. If you have something that you want to present or you have something that you want to learn, feel free to show up, ask questions, and we'll get you like started on your way. Another shout out to Hack UCF projects. I'm gonna give a shout out for the infra dev crew. Y'all still looking for JavaScript devs or are you looking for PowerShell devs now?
Now looking for more backend stuff, but more than just PowerShell.
Okay, what do you look for?
So we've had a lot of people join recently, which is great, and they've been filling a lot of empty spaces on the front end team. But now we're looking for more onboarding in the back end. So the main part of that is if you're a PowerShell programmer or want to do PowerShell programming, that'd be cool because that was just me, and that's mostly what the back end is. But there's also much more in terms of system administration. I'm talking Windows, Linux, administration, basic security. So with Splunk log analysis, if you want to get into data science or do some log analysis, that's also something you can do. Vulnerability management, and as well, generally speaking, not specifically technical, we do want some help designing some interfaces and some representation of data. So that can be a Splunk dashboard, that can be the way the front end looks. So not web design, but just like user interface design. It could be basically like MS Paint mockup, and work with us to develop something that's easy to use, makes sense. Because we're like programmers, we don't exactly know, like without all synthesize what looks best and what makes it easy to use. If you want to help out, that is super cool. I'm sure we see you in Discord. You can hit me up or see me after the meeting. We are looking to drop some big news next week, so we'd like to see some people help out a little bit.
So just to take that from the top for the members in our audience that might not have been able to hear you so well, you said you're looking for backend help, you're looking for PowerShell, you're looking for Windows system admins, are you looking for Linux system admins?
Yep.
Also looking for Linux system admins, cool. What else are you looking for?
If you want to do log analysis,
Log analysis,
learn how to find security events, basic like baselines of.
So
systems.
if people either know Splunk already or they want to learn Splunk, this is their chance to pick up that skill.
Yep.
Cool. What else you got?
Vulnerability analysis.
Vuln analysis. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So like what, you're gonna have them just hunting through all the infra and looking for problems?
We got nets in there. You can run some scans, see what actually the environment looks like.
Okay.
How to like apply those patches and not break down the entire environment.
All right, so you can learn how to appropriately like use Nessus in a real world environment, as well as to be able to hunt down those vulnerabilities and patch them or fix them.
Yep.
That's awesome. What else?
Design. So if you want to do like particle programming, you can make this look pretty. So that would represent data. So data visualization is a huge thing. So
So-
design a little bit.
Taking all that Splunk log analysis, that giant machine, and making pretty graphs and like objects out of them, right?
Yep.
So basically, if you want to work in security, you're basically giving people keys to the kingdom.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Is there anything else specifically that you're looking for? Do people have to have experience to do this, or are you willing to like help them along and teach them?
No experience is required. We're looking to help a couple people kind of take over from the core team that's doing right now. We're actually working heavily on live documentation. So if you're looking to learn, now is the best time to do that when you have all the paperwork about to be written out. You can do that with us, and then we'll show you basically everything.
So no experience necessary. You're looking for a little bit of everyone who just wants to like get in there and do stuff. You're willing to teach. You're willing to take people that have experience.
looking for everyone that is either like ranging from very interested in doing like deep level, like code writing, automation, script work, Splunk and analysis, as well as people just to document things and write reports.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, that's it.
All right, looks like we got a question. What's up? So the question asked in the audience was, when will this be taking place?
So it's been ongoing development for a couple of months, but if you're looking to like formally meet with us, we meet every Tuesday at 7. That's 1 hour before the ops meetings, and that's in the cycle up. We also have an info channel in Discord that's always open. If you want to ask questions or talk to one of us, so it's up.
Perfect. Jeffrey got you in chat talking about the meetings right before ops, but in addition to what Jeffrey said and what Michael had said, in case you didn't catch that, you can always do @infradev to get in touch with one of the dev team members, or you can @mtracy in Discord. Web dev group, y'all got anything you want to stand up and say? No, doing good. All right.
If you wanna like, we don't have any work that needs to be done, but if you wanna like learn what goes into making our like super free website, you can come talk to me and I'll tell you all about it. Yeah, I'll tell you all about our shop. It's very fun. And you can make the product and make products and sell them for money.
Right, so to kind of capture that for the audience members at home, the website is currently in a stable build, but if you are interested in website development and doing things to kind of gear up for a job you might want to do someday in industry, you can definitely do @webdev in Discord to catch a web dev, or you can
Kill.
KIL. Kill.
How 1337.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yes, that's what it is. That's my tag. That's my tagline. That's my thing. Amazing.
All right, and then I want to speak for design crew. We're always looking for individuals who have an eye for graphic design and or word design. We've got the entire store, as Jake mentioned, that we have the ability to make all kinds of merchandise for. So if you have a cool concept and want to see it on a t-shirt, this is your opportunity to kind of like float that idea by and get it up there. We are also gearing up to do a design contest this fall for both the hoodie and the t-shirt, which will be distributed sometime in spring semester. So you definitely look forward to that. But always looking for people who can design or want to learn how to design pretty things. All right, here's your last stop to stay informed. If you're not on the mailing list, you should catch that. If you haven't checked out the shop, definitely should. If you're not in the Discord, definitely please join, and you can check us out on Twitter. All right, thank you all very much. We appreciate you coming. If you want to come up here and talk to us one-on-one, you're more than welcome to do that. If you want to head out with us, we're going to fall back to the Cyber Lab where Night Hacks is currently doing shell hacks, and we can join them for that. That's my design. Thank you for coming out.
We're not in security. Security is never checked. You can do whatever.
Like my design.